What's up, guys? Here we're on the Subaru, already making revisions, but it won't be that drastic, so it's not like we're taking the car apart. We're just upgrading some stuff. I guess if you followed this build, you have known that there's very small clearance between the fan and the crank pulley here. And I knew this was probably going to be an issue, but we are starting to rub, probably on kind of spirited driving or launches, things like that. The engine's moving enough and the radiator's moving enough that they are coming in contact. So I'm going to try and prevent that from happening as much as it is. So, which I had these before, but they made the engine sit a little higher in the engine bay than I liked, so I took them back out. So I'm either going to put them in and see where it sits and see if I can kind of deal with it, or I might cut them, re-weld them smaller to make them work, and then we have a solid, more of a solid pitch mount, which I'll be replacing the stock one with, which will keep the engine from moving as much. Those two mods will keep the engine from moving as much, and then I'm also going to figure out some type of brace that I can do for the radiator to the engine, just because there is a little bit of movement, especially when it warms up. When it's colder, this hose keeps it from moving that much, but obviously when it heats up, this becomes more elastic, and so it moves more. So what we're going to be doing is putting some type of brace between there that keeps them from coming in contact, and hopefully all that helps. And it's not like it's rubbing that bad, it just is a little bit, and probably not a good thing. So fix that before it becomes a problem. So I guess first thing first is remove this pipe. All right, got the car lifted up, motor mounts unbolted there. So really we're just seeing if we can raise this enough to get the engine mounts out. It would be interesting. Good chance I might have to unbolt the radiator. All right, let's see if we can lift her. I might have to undo the turbo, which I didn't want to, but I might have to. Unless I can just undo that, but I don't know. I don't know if that down pipe will go up enough to. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to undo the turbo. Well, the only downside to a lift is if you need to get back to the top of the car, you either lower it, which takes forever, or you can get a ladder. Luckily for this turbo, too small. Alright. Got our separator there. Now let's see how she wants to lift. Alright. I still think I need to undo the radiator. Alright, we got the mounts off, measured up, and as you can see, I have kind of a game plan here. Measuring these come out to be about 2 5/16, and these come out to be around 2 10/16. So weirdly, I think all I need to do is kind of cut out the keen. Sorry, dude. Beautiful mounts, but not working for me. So cutting that out, and then I made this line to just have a reference for lining everything back up. So I guess no turning back, we just start cutting. Well, first side done. Not too shabby. Just flip her over and cut the other side out. Well, cuts went well. Only problem is now we need to notch that. They can slide down further, but I already figured that would happen. That's why I marked that. So guess now we gotta figure out how to cut that. Well, stubby little thing, but she'll work, I guess. Now I just really need to, I guess I should measure it, double check, but really should be good to start weld. Do some tacks, do a couple tacks, or I'll clean the metal, do a couple tacks there, then I can clean the rest of it. Probably gonna TIG weld it, but yeah, coming out pretty good. All right, these are done. Still hot, but got her welded on both sides. Let her cool down, and we will do the next one. Now that I know what I'm doing, should be able to whip it out pretty quick. All right, got them both welded up. Look pretty good. This one still hot. Clean that one up. But I think I'm done for tonight. Paint these tomorrow. Then we can throw the mounts, bushings back into them. And throw them back in the car. That went pretty quick, faster than I thought it would. So we are moving right along. Should be able to get those back in the car tomorrow. Get the pitch stop in, and then turbo bracing. That all comes tomorrow. You got the hiccups?
Yeah.
Well, we got our motor mounts all painted, and they're dry, ready to go. Bring them back over here. And we can put these together and slap them in the car. All right, got these all together, looking good. On to the next problem. These are the bolt holes for the mount too wide. So I'll just come in, widen these so that I can bolt them in, and then we'll be able to put them in the end. Then we'll be able to put them on the car. Well, we got the holes widened out, bolted on. That's ready to go in. The other one's already in the car over here. Halfway bolted in. So this front bolt's super easy. This back bolt is not so easy. So I gotta struggle with that. All right, everything under the car is buttoned up, back together, ready to go. So let's move on to the pitch stop, which I already removed the old one. You can definitely tell this will allow a lot more movement than this. Guess we'll see. It goes in. This is actually a cheap one because I'm not going to spend $100 on a piece of aluminum with bushings in it. But it should work just fine. I had to unbolt the manifold so I can lift it up, but other than that, it should go right in. All right, we got that pitch stop mount in there. Went in fairly easy. I ended up using some silicone to kind of lube up the old rubber bushings in there, and that made it slide in there a lot easier, and I was able to install it pretty quickly. So recommendations: use plenty of lube when you're doing that job. But that kind of wraps up all the mounts. Now the other two things that I would like to get done, I would like to put some type of brace between the engine and the radiator here, just to keep the radiator from moving. That way it's kind of guaranteed that those aren't going to contact each other down there. And then I also want to do some type of turbo brace. Just there's a little bit of movement here, and turbos are heavy, so you should have them braced up to the engine. That way you're not putting stress on your exhaust. I noticed down there that the exhaust, one of the seams is kind of looking a little stressed. You could see where it was. Probably can't see that. You could see where it was powder coated that the paint's kind of stressed there. It's not like cracked, but you can tell that it's kind of struggling a little bit. So I want to mount, kind of brace up the turbo, keep it from moving at all. I'm not gonna do anything fancy. Probably just gonna get some stock. Here is like 1x1/4 inch steel stock that I'm gonna use to do some type of X brace down there. Probably just go from the flange bolt and run it to the engine here. There's a mounting spot there, and then run a brace to the transmission. So that way it will, if the turbo wants to move back, the engine brace will support it, and if it wants to go side to side, it'll be locked down to the transmission as well. So shouldn't be moving at all. But I was going to use this stock, just stuff we had laying around, but it's kind of some holy stock right there, and I'd rather just get new stuff because I want it to be as strong as possible, but I don't have any, so I'm gonna have to run to the store. I'll do that tomorrow. There is a meet that I want to go to this weekend. I have a buddy who's moving away, and kind of his farewell meet, so I'd for sure want to do that, but I can't get the parts till tomorrow, so we'll continue tomorrow. All right, guys, we are back. Next day working on the Subaru. I got some metal that we can build the bracket with. Unfortunately, they didn't have any 1x1/4 inch metal, so all they had was 1x1/8 inch, but 2/8 makes a quarter. So we might be doubling up on that, but it will be just as strong. Might even be a little stronger. So now we just need to do some measuring, see how we can get it from that bolt hole spot right there to the back of the flange bolt there, and I doubt I can do it straight, so there might have to be some bends and stuff in it, but we will see when we start trying to fit her in. Well guys, thanks to Mr. Kevin yesterday, I really didn't get much done at all. All I got done was that's in a rough shape that it needs to be to get from the engine to the turbo. So I need to try and bust this out today so that the car's ready for tomorrow. Should be able to, not too worried about it, but definitely need to get going on it. Alright, so I have the shape kind of figured out, and I actually decided that I'm going to do 3 layers of this, just because if it was just a straight piece, I would probably just do 2. But since it's kind of has some curve to it, I want it to be a little more rigid, so now I just need to make 2 more of these that match that exact shape. A little easier said than done, but we'll crack her out. Alright, got all 3 bent to size. Now, just need to weld these together. You know, sometimes I can actually weld kind of good. Or it just makes me realize that almost everything I weld is really thin. And so when I weld stuff like this, I can actually lay down good beads. Well, that part's done. We'll see how much it moved when I welded it. Hopefully not too much. But need a drill hole there. Reshape those pieces to match that piece. Lop off some of that. And we can go test fit it. Well, let me find a light here that actually works. These Harbor Freight lights are the best. If you don't have them, get them. Well, bracket is so close to fitting. Needs bent a little more. And then I need to kind of shave off down here a little bit because it's hitting on, I think that's an oil galley. But other than that, it's looking pretty good. It's pretty solid. Yeah, mark where I need to shave off the bottom a little more and then bend it a hair. Yeah, it just needs to go up barely. Bend it up a hair and then retest fit. Alright, well I think I have the bracket pretty close to where it is gonna want to live. Now the fun part of deciding where I need to drill a hole. A little idea I had. Got a bolt, put her to a point. Get a little paint. hopefully I can set this in the hole and okay, I guess moment of truth. Swing this out. Ooh, look at that. We got a little red dot right there. Perfect. All right. Moment of truth. See if she works. And I guess before I do this, maybe we should do it. Test how much movement we got. You know, one of my favorite things about this manifold is it just holds all your tools. Makes it super handy. But anyways, so we got the turbo support in there, and man, that thing's solid. I don't even know if I'm gonna do a side support from the transmission because that is stiffening it up a ton. So yeah, I don't know. I might add that later, or I might just leave it. We'll see. Because I want to move on to the radiator. Because, like I said, very little clearance there. And like right now, it doesn't touch, and that's because this hose is stiff. Kind of holds it in place. But as soon as we heat in there, obviously this hose gets softer and allows it to move. So I think I'm going to just run a support between the radiator and the power steering bracket here. Just an aluminum one that will keep it from moving back and forth or forward and backwards, and that should eliminate the contact. So I found some aluminum angle iron here. Probably cut this up, use it for the bracket piece here. Weld on this piece, and then I will weld on an actual piece to the radiator where I can bolt it here. That way it's not solid, and if I need to get in here, take this belt off for instance, then I can do that without having to remove the radiator and everything. So I think that is the plan. Let's see how fast I can whip it out. Well, got her all welded up. Now all we need to do is weld it to the actual radiator. I tried cleaning up this piece as much as I could because I don't really want to make this weld look bad. What's nice is the support the support piece that I have across here actually covers it up, which is nice. But I just want this one to look good because everyone could see it. So, and aluminum is really picky about being clean, so I sanded this down really good. I need to sand down the radiator good because it can go south really fast with aluminum. So trying my best to set myself up for a win here, but we will see. Let me pull out the TIG machine and I guess see if I can get it done. Well guys, I got everything set up, ready to go. I wedged this little piece of aluminum in here just because, since there's a little gap there, obviously this isn't going to be grounded because the ground's on this, and so I put that in there to create a contact there. But yeah, I guess we're ready to go. Wish me luck. Oh yeah, not too shabby. Now look at that, she's so solid. Man, everything's just gonna be solid now. We got our new solid mounts, solid pitch stop, solid radiator bracket, solid turbo bracket. Man, it's like we want to actually drive this thing. Speaking of driving this thing, I think she's ready for a car meet tomorrow. Just need to butt everything back up. Actually, let's see how this. Like so. Aw. So we'll go somewhere like that, and look at that. Covers up the bolt. Perfect. Just like that, she is all put together, ready to go. So I guess I will see you guys tomorrow when we're getting ready to head out. Well, last night we got the car all put together. It's sitting here warming up because I'm just about to head out for the meet. She should be pretty close to being warm here. A few more degrees. But yeah, so we're gonna cruise about a 35-minute drive. So should be a good one. I think there's some windy roads on the way there. I'm excited to get more miles on this thing. Well guys, we made it to the meet. Pretty good turnout. I think quite a few cars are going to be showing up here. There's a few people that I don't see yet, so I know there will be at least a few more. But yeah, it'll be fun to come and talk cars with a bunch of people. Well guys, I'm just leaving the meet, getting some fuel here in the car because she's a thirsty girl and goes through fuel like it's no one's business. But it's actually a really good meet. Good talking cars with some buddies and seeing everybody. But I think I'm gonna end this one here since it's dark, won't really see much. But so yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.